Hello, I'm Dana McGuiness, and my sister Sheila went before me, so we got a brother-sister thing going on here. I didn't realize I quite had as much power as my sister ascribed to, she and I, so being the youngest in the family, but I didn't know I had so much veto power as to say whether we went or not. But Dad's career, well, putting an end to that didn't seem like a good idea at the time, so... But I, too, marveled at the idea that we were going someplace that I had no idea really existed. I'd heard about the Golden Triangle of trade, and, of course, in 71, Vietnam War was still going on. Free love, revolution was in the air, drugs ran rampant, and, it was just an interesting time. Obviously knowing somewhat of the history, the sun was really setting on the empires as they stood. My father's experiences in World War II didn't seem all that far beyond. The insurgency, as far as I knew, here in Malaysia was still going on, so it was kind of interesting. We were going to some place that at once was very safe, but you could only travel X amount because there were communist guerrillas not too far to the north. So it's kind of like, you just took the highway a little south and let them fight their little war up there. So that was interesting. But food, I had fond memories of Le Coq d'Or, a little French restaurant, the ability to hang out with my parents and do so many interesting things with them, whether it was to Singapore with the famous Raffles Hotel, and my mom actually went there. We didn't quite go there, but Shangri-La Hotel down in Singapore. And that's truly the way Kuala Lumpur was to me, a true Shangri-La. Having arrived in, I think, late July, we decided after our European adventures that we had just traveled too much, and we voted that, and that was a family decision, but not to go to Bangkok because we were anxious to get to our new home. And the first place was the Royal Selangor Golf Club, so that was my first introduction. So school hadn't started yet, but August, everybody convened there day after day after day. So even before the start of school, I actually made quite a few new friends and what were to become my classmates. As my sister suggested, the interesting thing is that all the families here really became your extended family. And so whether it was, I kind of was a jock for sure, but, there were nerds and there were druggies, and it really didn't matter who you were at that time. The cliques that seemed to exist back in the United States, albeit they were here, but they weren't so out on top of the surface. If you had a brother, you were welcome almost in anybody's home at any time. But just, I don't know, it was just a special, magical place. Martin Fisher, of course, some of the greatest parties ever thrown, It was just wonderful, but there it was, the German ambassador's house, or, I'm going over to so-and-so's, the high commissioner's house. And I remember playing tennis at the Royal Selangor Golf Club one time, and you had to be, I think, 16 to play on what is beautiful, the grass courts. The next only I know was Wimbledon. So we were very lucky to, be able to partake on beautiful courts. And, as it was, I was 15 and I wasn't meant to play. You had to be 16, but I had a good track record and everybody knew. And there was the High Commissioner from New Zealand. There was somebody from Khmer Rouge, which was there, and there was someone else from Russia. And I just remember the Russian had a great idea that I wasn't of proper age. And yet all of a sudden it was almost like a political incident, if you would. They all stood up and said, no, you'll be playing by yourself if you choose to. So, there's all these undercurrents of like whose dad worked for the CIA, and, it was like, whoa, and all the kids could care less as to what was going on. But it was like, yeah, I think he's CIA, but, he's KGB, but, hello, I was like, well, as long as they don't follow us, we're okay, but sports was wonderful, going down to Singapore American School, and couldn't think of anything finer than to be hosted by, a lot of fine people down there. And then when they came up, we tried to show them the best of times. And the Hong Kong International School invited us up for 1 year for a tournament. And I just met a lot of beautiful people. And it was just nice to cut across, to be with juniors and seniors. None of that would ever happen in America. I mean, you were very class by class segregated. And again, here it was just, you were one kind of big family. And that's what I enjoyed about, but again, it's a life-changing and certainly a benchmark in, my whole career. The M word, is freely spoken. I took to the sarongs. I used to freely wear those. And right up even through my freshman year in college, and that was fine. But, I wore them so much. They were part of me. And, none of the guys quite knew on my freshman floor what the hell to make of a sarong. I assured them I was not gay, and although some years later they still questioned that, but, I said, okay, guys, I'm not lucky, but it had nothing to do with the sarong. I said, and so I was happy to get in my care package this time a nice new sarong. So, but, again, these reunions are great, and Leanne Letourneau tirelessly gives of herself, and, without her, I don't know that any of us would be here, perhaps. I know there's others that are involved, but, I look forward to doing this again and hopefully making it back even to Kuala Lumpur once again. It's a great excuse to be an alumni, and, that's the beauty. You don't need to have an excuse to come back, but it's nice knowing that the new family of ISKL is here to welcome us, and the administration has done, a wonderful job, and it's just, great. That's all I can tell you.